Hi guys, I'm Priyanka, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some social awareness or general awareness. And as you can tell from the title, we're going to talk about a couple of topics. So firstly, we're going to talk about online dating, precautions that you'll have to take, or in general awareness around it, around meeting anybody through social media or basically any dating app. And then after these topics, we'll also move on and talk about harassment in general, and how to avoid it or how to take action on it, and how to open up and stand up for yourself or speak out, those things. So we'll be talking about these topics today, and I know it's getting a little serious, but these are some topics which I have been wanting to cover in some way or the other. And after the Chennai incident, I received some DMs and comments and messages asking me to make a video around it. Since we do have a channel, this is a platform where a lot of us women connect and we share our views on a lot of different things. So I thought this might be a good platform, and a lot of you guys wanted to see self-care videos, motivational videos, and even social awareness videos, so I thought I will include such things. So to begin with, let's talk about online dating. So online dating, obviously you'd meet strangers and get to know them, so it can be through anything. It can be through any app. It doesn't have to be through a dating app. You and I know each other through social media, and I've met so many bloggers and YouTubers through social media and have become friends with them. So all of us do it, but sometimes of course it leads into a very dangerous situation. Like, we can't sit and say that don't use social media or don't use online dating apps, but of course there are some precautions that we can take. Some of these can be really obvious, but still stating the obvious, since you're meeting a stranger for the first time, of course make sure that you meet the person in a public place and not a private place, not in somebody's car or not at somebody's house. Make sure that you meet them in a public place where it is surrounded, you're surrounded with a bunch of people, and it's a crowded place like a mall or some place where there's a public place where there's a lot of people, so that you don't fall into trouble and you can walk away from the situation very easily that way. Once you sense that there is some sort of trouble, don't ever feel guilty in such situations. If you feel that there is a trouble, or if you sense that there is something wrong, please walk away from the situation. Don't worry about what the other person will think, or don't worry about feeling guilty. So our instincts always tend to tell us and direct us in a certain way, and we tend to ignore them sometimes. So listen to your instincts and walk away from the situation, or don't feel shy or don't feel guilty to say no and leave the situation, or just get out of there, or block someone, or delete someone, anything like that. Your safety and your mental peace is the most important thing in these kind of scenarios. Please remember that. And of course that is one scenario, and in other scenarios, if you do get to know a person and if you are looking to go forward, at least try and get to know a little bit about the other person. Use your social media skills, use LinkedIn, use other social networking sites to find out about certain things. Obviously a lot of people do fake some things, so when you dig in a little and ask a few questions, I don't mean to say that you should be always suspicious, but of course better safe than sorry, right? So ask yourself some questions. If anything is too good to be true, then it might not be true. So be a little cautious is what I'm saying. Be a little cautious, be smart. And then don't go in blind faith with anyone. Let it be even some friend of friend or someone you know commonly. Don't go in blind faith with anyone. Make sure that you know where you're headed. If you're heading out somewhere in a cab or someone's vehicle, make sure that you know where you're going. Make sure that you know your directions. Don't blindly trust anyone. Let it be someone you know for a while. Let it be a colleague. Let it be a college friend. Even somebody you know, not just people you meet through social media or online dating apps, not just strangers. Anyone you know, make sure that you know the directions and just be aware of your surroundings. So all I'm saying is be attentive and be aware of your surroundings. These are some basic general precautions which we already know, but they just take a backseat. We don't think about it much. So think of it as a general discussion, or think of it as a reminder. Now, not to scare you, I just wanted to give you guys an example of someone who met through these online dating apps or something like that. So I was recently watching this YouTuber called Shane Dawson. He's super famous. This is someone who I really admire, and I have been watching his videos for a while. Now, keeping that aside, so there was a video recently. He does this series called Conspiracy Theories. So in one of the videos, there was a brief incident about a YouTuber herself, like his friend who actually met a person through online dating or some sort of a social media app or something like that, and then they got to know each other, they started dating, and she got married. And she fell into a really scary trap. I don't mean to scare you, but I'm just giving an example. This one was actually tied to human trafficking. She realized that she might be a victim of human trafficking, she and her child both. So those sort of scary situations happen. Now this is one extreme, but if not this, there are some other instances which we've seen even in our country. So it can always be a little tricky, and it's always good to be safe. Now those were the points that I wanted to mention about online dating. And now moving on to harassment in general. So this is something that most women face all throughout, and talking about the Me Too movement or just in general too. You see a lot of such things. These things are common definitely, but that doesn't mean that they're okay. Something happens very often doesn't mean that it's okay. There's a huge hype around for some time and then it's gone. But these things do happen on a daily basis and they don't come out. They happen in colleges, they happen in schools, they happen in corporate, they happen everywhere. So how do we deal with this? So what we can do in these scenarios is firstly educate your children. If you have any younger girls in your household, or your own children, or if you have any younger sisters or siblings, so it is always important to educate them from their childhood. It'll actually stick in their head and they'll start understanding what is actually uncomfortable and what is actually wrong. So from early on itself we can educate our children, and that is one part of it. And so when a teenager comes up and talks about it, or when a younger girl comes up and talks about it, instead of shutting them up, anybody around should take an action. I'm sure all of you guys agree. Even though it is difficult, even though you have to face other people, it is important to take an action and not actually tell the person or the victim to shut up and keep quiet about it. When it comes to colleges and workplaces also, it is not just the person who's going through it, or it is not just somebody who's in the authority or who is actually a faculty or an HR to actually respond to it. It is all of our responsibility. So if you see something going wrong, instead of thinking that it's none of our business, it is a mutual responsibility. It is all of our responsibility to take action. So instead of judging our own colleagues, if we support each other, then more people will open up and talk about these things, and we can actually make sure that this is minimized and people don't go through it again and again, and people actually know the seriousness of such things. So first thing is, when you're in a situation when you feel uncomfortable, it doesn't have to go to a very far extent, but as soon as you know that you're uncomfortable with somebody, or somebody is trying to abuse you verbally or is trying to harass you in any other way, as soon as you realize that you're in a situation which makes you feel even a little uncomfortable, that's when you have to put an end to it. Sometimes we go a little back and forth. We tend to think that maybe we're overthinking it, maybe we are wrong, but that's not the case. So what I want to tell you guys is be smart about it. Don't go about yelling at people, don't go about acting or snapping at people or acting in the moment. So when you see a particular scenario, let it be something that you are in a particular situation, or people around you are in a particular situation of facing some sort of a trouble with such things. What helps is staying calm and understanding the situation and then acting upon it, instead of actually snapping at somebody in the particular situation. So there are times when you're scared that nobody will believe you, or there are times when you yell at somebody and it can look like it's your fault. And don't be scared about being judged. When you're doing the right thing, you don't have to worry about it. So that's what I wanted to say. And recently I also came across this Instagrammer. I think she is a blogger, I'm not really sure, but I tend to follow her on Instagram. So her handle is Wendy's Lookbook. So she recently posted something about a harassment which she went through during her childhood, unfortunately within the family, and she never spoke about it for such a long time, and she finally opened up and she shared it on social media, and she got immense response. She had so many stories coming up to her and telling her that she's not alone, and people have faced such situations, and how to keep yourself together, and how to, you know, get back on your feet, and how to not worry about it, and how to understand that it's not your fault, and how to move on from the situation. The other thing that a lot of you guys wanted to talk about or have a discussion on was how to get out of it and get back to normal. After being in certain situations, how to get over it and come out of it. Firstly, understand that you're not alone, unfortunately, but you're not alone. There are a lot of women who go through this, so don't think that there is some fault from your end. You just happen to be in a situation, and sometimes we can't control everything around us, so these things happen. First thing, of course, you can take a lot of precautions, but unfortunately certain times, let it be something small or big, sometimes we all end up in certain scenarios. So most of the times in such situations, women are hard on themselves. They start to feel that maybe they could have done this to avoid this situation, or maybe they could have acted upon it sooner. So stop feeling guilty and stop blaming yourself for somebody else's actions. Let it be in a bad relationship, or let it be in these scenarios where you unfortunately were an incident where you were victim of harassment, or whatever the situation might be. Stop blaming yourself and understand that it's not the end of the world. Yes, it was a difficult situation, but you are strong. Be strong, stay positive, and take help from family and friends. Whatever it takes to be emotionally strong, do it, but don't blame yourself, and don't think of it as the end of the world. It is not. You will get over it and you'll be fine. Don't make these things stop you from doing anything else. Just carry on with your work, carry on with whatever you do, and stay strong and keep going. That's it. So that's it for this video, guys. These are the topics that a lot of you guys wanted me to cover. I know it was a sit down video and it went on like a talking video. We can make these interactive sessions instead, so let me know in the comments below if there are any particular topics that you would like me to cover. We can do like a Q&A session. So leave any topics or questions that you have and we can take up something. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you found this useful. I want you to think of it as a discussion that you would have with your friends or family or colleagues or something like that. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what other videos you would like to watch. I've been seeing a lot of comments asking for videos related to self-care and motivational videos and a lot of other videos. So we will be doing all those. So I've done a bunch of them. I'll leave the links in the description box in case you would be interested. And that's it for this video, guys. I'll leave my Instagram handle here. You can find me there as well, and we can stay connected that way, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.